Hello everybody, this is a crypto update, and let's have a look here at Bitcoin first and then at a couple of other coins. So I'm still bearish. We didn't see any recovery after this strong sell-off here. Well, that's the daily chart, right? So it's basically going sideways down. We didn't see any recovery. Well, we see these wick recoveries, right? So within a day, where we saw a big intraday, we saw a big recovery here, big wick, another big wick, another wick, another big wick, right? So we've got these sell-offs. Well, sell-offs go into this support area, and we can have a look at that, where it comes from. So there are big sell-offs into an important support area, and then there are confident bulls who are buying up, right? This used to be a huge red bar. So there are some confident buyers, and that's basically we're in an accumulation phase, right? This is what it means to have these big bottom wicks and rejection bars. So this again, well, this made a slightly new low here. This wick is slightly lower than this wick, and then there were confident bulls stepping in. Well, this could mean that it's not going to fall further, but I think it will still, right? I mean, just because this is an accumulation phase where buyers are basically buying into building a position. Well, typically, well, these are institutional buyers, right? They've got a big position to fill, and they're stepping in whenever they're selling panic. So this is basically, well, let's make it bigger. So, sorry. So this is basically, this is selling panic, right? Big red bar. And if you've got a big position to fill, well, you're going in with slices, right? And that moves the market. So this is why we get these big wicks on the bottom. So we've got big buying happening, institutions, right? We're in the phase of institutional expansion here with the cryptocurrencies. Well, it doesn't mean that it's going to hold here, right? Because I don't think it will. I think we're seeing another big sell-off. Well, any other big sell-off coming, well, provides the institutions, well, the big buyers, the opportunity to buy a big amount of coins, basically, right? They want to see selling panic in order to accumulate what they need to do. So, like, from a technical perspective, well, this is a sideways consolidation followed by another sideways consolidation, and that's basically, well, that's an S1 pattern. And that's another S1 pattern. So we've got a pattern within a pattern. Well, here it tried to run higher, and it couldn't, right? There's an immediate sell-off. So now what we see here is, well, we see another red stay, and it has broken this last low. So it's basically, we see a bearishness coming into the chart, and these are fantastic stop run levels, right? This wick, well, this wick basically clusters with this wick. So we've got fantastic stop run levels, and if they get broken, well, we see a big slip, right, into this, well, towards this target area down here. So we'll have to see where the next confident bulls step in and buy. I think it will be much lower than currently. Currently we're at 32. So we might get much better buying prices at around the 20,000 level. So overall, it's still a very bullish picture, right? But we're in a phase of where prices consolidate. Let's have a look at that here. Let's move a step higher. So now we see the monthly chart, right? We see the weekly chart, and here the daily chart. We just talked about the daily chart. So this is the important level, right? So if this red level breaks, well, then we are, it's screaming for diving into this quadrant, and it might even spike, like go through this 200 moving average, which is at 17,000. I mean, these would be fantastic prices, right? So now let's have a look here at the weekly. So on the weekly, I mean, this long consolidation of the daily chart on the weekly, well, we can see that there was no recovery, well, not even to the 21 moving average. So price was halted by the 8. So 8 is resistance on the way down, and that tells us that the chart is basically dominated by the bears, because the 8 moving average is enough to find support on the overall way down. So why does it find support here? Well, we've got an important pattern here. Well, we're looking at the weekly chart, but this pattern actually was on the daily, but this line remains, right? From these S1 patterns, like the line of these S1 patterns, well, you can extend it and it still remains support and resistance going forward. And we can see it clearly here. I mean, this bar tested the line and recovered. Now we've got a couple of weeks where, yeah, the bars are able to position themselves. So there's no open and close below the line. Well, we might see this week. So today is Thursday. Well, it's still running for a couple of more days, right, into Sunday. So we might actually see this week being the first week that closes below this level. So that's another bearish signal. But let's have a look here at the monthly chart. So the monthly chart, I mean, what we saw here after this big up run is, well, it has just come back, pulled back to the 8. It didn't drop to the 21. So a decent and a normal pullback is to the 21, right, to the blue line. So here again, it halted at the 8, but we have got monthly bars that are below the 8, right? And it's basically, well, the 8 is hugging the monthly bars, right? And as the 8 has a negative slope, so that's a hugging to the downside, right? And we might actually see, well, the bars have established below the 8, so now we're in the band, the 821 band, and that tells me that it's highly likely, looking at the monthly chart, that we're seeing a drop to the 21, right? It's getting hugged, and we should see a drop to the next area of support, and even lower. Well, as we're looking for measured moves, well, we're looking for a move. Let's see. Well, we're looking for a move going down here, right? So that's the 18,000 level. So let's just check. So the 18, well, that would be well beyond the 21, right? So we should see a good test of 21. We had seen that before here with this bar. It was a strong test of the 21. And we might see another strong test of the 21. We might even get to the 50 moving average here, right? So, well, let's have a look at just a few other coins. So this is Ethereum. So Ethereum, well, Ethereum looks pretty bullish, right? I mean, here on the weekly, we've just only tested the 21. Well, we're still quite, we're holding above the 8 and it has only tested. So that looks pretty bullish. I mean, that's a very strong trend here. However, I mean, this being another S1 pattern, well, the bulls haven't been able to re-break this line, which is resistance, right? So it's a failure to follow through, and that's a bearish signal too. And now let's have a look at a relative chart. So Ethereum versus a Bitcoin. I quite like this because it shows the strength of another Bitcoin, Ethereum, against Bitcoin. And we can see again here, well, that's another S1 pattern, right? Well, it has triggered an entry here on the daily chart, but it's not fulfilling the rules on the weekly, because we actually need a test of 21. So so this doesn't fit, right? The picture, rules are not fulfilled. Bitcoin looks very bearish. It should go lower. And let's have just look at, I mean, you can take whatever. It looks really bearish across, across the board, right? Here as well, we've got an S1 pattern chart. It looks really bearish. That's the stop run level. That's the stop run level. Now it's still holding on the 200. It might drop, and it should drop, right? So we should as well here, we should see a good test of the 21. And you can go with whatever those altcoins. I mean, they look all bearish, screamingly bearish. Very often, if you're in a strong bull, it might look terribly bearish and it still recovers. Well, but now we are not in a strong bull, right? So now we're in a consolidation phase. And I think we're going to see much lower prices in Bitcoin, and we're going to see great buying prices in altcoins if that happens. So, well, prepare yourself for fishing for really low prices on any of those coins that you always wanted to own. So that looks pretty good on the downside, and we might get there within a couple of months, right? So it might be one month. Or it could be this month that brings a big big black bar, or it could be like 2 or 3 more months. It might not hold very long. Like we might only get a quick dip and a quick recovery, similar to what we've seen here, right? That's a corona spike. So that's it for the month. Thank you.